Welcome to Palmetto Southern Comfort's Authenticare 2.0 mobile app training. In this training, we will review the 12 strike policy, how to register your account, clocking in and out, and verifying your submissions. Here are some Authenticare basics. It is wise that you screenshot or write down this information as it will be needed later on. The setup code is SCDHHSPRD. Your username or worker ID will be 1757 and the last four of your social. Your temporary password is hello 2022 pound. For any reason you may need later on your mobile app password reset, it will always be reset to hello 2022 pound. In the event you're having any technical issues with your app, you must call South Carolina Care Call. This is the 1-800-441-4667 number. If for any reason you are at the client's house and your mobile app is malfunctioning, please call Care Call first so they can log your call for errors. If for some reason you're unable to clock in or clock out or having any other issues or had to call Care Call, please call the office and notify us as well. What is the 12 strike policy? One strike will be given to a worker for each error where a correction must be made. What this means is you will receive a strike if I have to input a correction for you, meaning you did not clock in or clock out, and I have to go in and manually do it. After the 12th strike, time clock corrections will no longer be accepted by Medicaid. This means the agency will not be paid for that day, and that the CLT office has 14 days to respond to the corrections that were submitted. This means if I have to submit corrections for you, Medicaid has 14 days to decide if they're going to pay the claim or reject the claim. This is why on your timesheets you will see that you may have to wait a week before you are reimbursed for a day. If you have reached 12 strikes and consistently still clock out wrong, we will have to wait until the next pay period to pay you to see if we are being paid or not. You are given a 1-month grace period by Medicaid before they start assigning strikes. However, workers rehire or returning who will be using the app will not get this grace period since they should already know how to use the app. So if you leave and come back to the agency, your strikes will not start over. You'll pick up right back where you left off. And after 1 year, each worker begins a new strike period. What is considered a strike? Worker forgets to check in, but does check out. Worker forgets to check out, but does check in. Worker forgets to check in and worker forgets to check out. Check in, check out location does not match authorized location or telephone. On your timesheet, you will see the column that has errors and submissions. Some of you are familiar with these codes, C1 and C2, L3 and L4. These are what is considered a strike. So any of these infractions will start accumulating strikes. What happens when I reach 12 strikes? These are the 3 options you will have if you have reached 12 strikes. Employees can take a voluntary leave of absence until the strikes reset. If we are not paid for our time after the first day, we will not reimburse you. So it is totally understandable if you do not want to take the risk and say, I'm going to work, and if something happens with my time clock, I may not be paid for this day. If you want to take a voluntary leave of absence until your strikes reset because you are unsure that you're going to be able to clock in and clock out going forward, that is an option you have. Your second option is to take the extra steps to ensure that you have clocked in and out correctly. You can take 1 minute and make sure you log out. Once you clock in, log out of your account, log back in, and verify that you see your time has been logged. Same thing with clocking out. Once you have submitted a clock in or clock out, log out of your app, go back in, and make sure you see your time. If for some reason you do not, you need to call Care Call and the office immediately. Your third option, once you have reached your 12 strikes, is to switch from using the mobile app to using the client's landline and Authenticare Time Clock. If your client has a landline, there is an option to clock in using that. You will also be required to clock in and clock out on Authenticare. If you choose this option, we'll do training on that as well, individual. Now let's go into registering your account. When you first open the mobile app, it's going to ask you for a setup code. Your setup code is located in this box, SCDHHSPRD. Your next step is to go to the Settings tab, then to see Device Identifier. Once you select Device Identifier, a code is going to pop up. You can either copy it or screenshot it and send it to 803-369-2133. Once we receive your code, we will then input you into the system on our side. You will then receive confirmation that you are able to log in. Again, your worker ID is going to be 1757 and the last four of your social. Your password is going to always be hello 2022 pound. Once you have logged in, you will be prompted to change your password. This first box is going to be for your temporary password, hello 2022 pound. Then you're going to input your new password following the requirements. Your new password needs to be inputted twice and then submit. Now you have been registered into the Authenticare app and you're ready to clock in for the first time. Step 1 will be to input your worker ID and your new password that you chose. Step 2 will be locating your client. The Authenticare app is GPS tracked and all clients have a geofence around their home. Once you reach the client's residence, which is the only place you are allowed to clock in is at the residence, you will hit New Check-in and the client's information should populate. You will see the client name listed twice. One will have the address and one will have location not available. Please select the one with the address. If for some reason you're at the home and the client information does not automatically populate when you select New Check-in, please call the office and I will forward you the client's CLTC number to be inputted. Once you have located your client, you'll then go to Services. Each client has specific services. Out of the 3 levels, I will let you know which one you need to select. Personal Care 1, Personal Care 2, Companion. Some clients have all 3, some clients have 2, but you will be notified of what services you need to select. Now you've selected your services, it's time to submit your check-in. Once you have chosen your client, chosen your services, you will now be able to submit your check-in. Please make sure you see the green success circle when checking in or out to ensure that your time has been logged. Once you have completed your shift and it is time to leave, before you leave the residence, you'll need to clock out. To clock out, Follow the steps for clocking back in. You should see this first screen. You'll see the services you selected, and now you'll have two tabs for activities and observations. Activities are basically your ADLs that you completed that day. Select only the ADLs that you completed. This list will go down some more, so please make sure you look at the entire list and select every activity you completed that day. Once you've selected your activities, you'll go over to the Observations tab, scroll down, and if any of these apply to your client, if you're noticing they're having difficulty with dressing, difficult managing their hygiene, or feeding themselves, please select those. If none of these observations apply, please select the first selection, no observations to report. Once you have selected your service, your activities, and your observations, you're now ready to check out. At the bottom, you will see the tab that says Submit Checkout. Please ensure again you see the green circle that says Success to ensure you have clocked out. Behind the block, you should see personal care, your activities, and pieces of the little observations and time. As you see, when you're getting ready to clock out, the actual time that you checked in is listed as well. That is all you will do to check in and check out of Authenticare. To verify that you have successfully submitted your clock in and clock out, please go to the Settings tab and log out. Complete the steps for logging back into the app. At the top of the app, you will see a date. If you select the calendar up top, you will then see a drop-down box of the entire month. You are able to scroll whichever month and whichever day and check to see if you have successfully clocked in and clocked out.